want a loan to start a small business.
Small business.
Small business.
I work for a small business.
A small business.
I'm saving money to buy a small business.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Small Business Survival Guide podcast, where entrepreneurs from the pest control world share their tips to help your business thrive in the real world. Join us as we break down the business game and steer you towards success. I'm with my co-host today, Kahlee. How you going, Kahlee?
Hello, good, thanks.
And of course, today's topic is working with your partner and how to avoid work consuming your life. Well, I'd love to say that we've absolutely nailed that, but I guess that's why we could be talking about it, because
We're probably
it's
really
certainly
terrible at it.
We know what not to do. Well, the first thing that we could talk about is around setting boundaries, because it's easy if you're working together and then you've got the evening together, the weekends. If you don't have those clear boundaries, then that's when work definitely takes over and you can be talking about work all day, every day. Again, we've totally nailed that one. So we don't talk work in the evening or whatever, do we? So
Rarely.
Yeah, for us, we've tried to do that in the past. Though we'll say 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we'll stop talking work and try and chat about other things.
Yeah, but you don't let me talk about it before that either, so...
Yeah, no, just no talking work in general.
Yeah.
I guess that is a key part for us, has always been, particularly for you, to debrief in the evenings or on the weekends is an important part of our relationship. And yeah, you prefer to talk work more than I do. And so finding that balance for both of us has been a challenge, but I think it is a really important part. I've got to allow you to be able to debrief on your day. And then also, if I'm not up for it, you've got to be able to respect that maybe I'm not up for it at times.
Yeah, most of the time. I think, like you've also said as well, we've had lots of disagreements and arguments over this topic. So trying to have someone to debrief to that isn't your partner is probably best. Having that person to debrief to who understands where you're coming from and working in a business and doing the hours and things like that, it's very hard to find. Most friends don't want to hear that either. So I think that's where I've struggled the most, is having those people to debrief to. Maybe if I caught up with my friends or family on the weekend, if we get onto that topic, because we know that by the weekend you probably don't want to be talking about it, I'm normally trying to talk to you about things that have happened in my day or situations where I've had to, or the company or the team have had to make decisions.
A lot of the time it's around the frustrations and
Yeah.
the challenges of business.
Yeah. So, yes, having a friend that you can debrief to and talk about your day and things like that is important, but in the moment, during weeknight routines and things, that's not possible. So I guess that's where I've gotten caught up a lot of the time, trying to debrief with you when you just want to not talk about work, which we have struggled to find the balance, because I'm too much and you're too little. It is us in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, I would agree. I think a key part is also we've set up meetings within work hours to discuss work things. So, and I think that's been the biggest challenge, is what hat are we wearing when we're having a discussion? Are we wearing owner's hat as an owner, or is it a mum and dad conversation, a husband and wife conversation? Is it a ops manager, general manager, managing director type conversation? So when we set up some frameworks, like we'll catch up once a week on a Monday normally, and that's more of an operations catch up between us. We know that we're there to talk about work. So I think stuff like that has helped. It means that we're not trying to discuss a topic on a Thursday night when we know it can wait until that Monday catch up.
Yeah.
So
if I can remember.
Well, we've got to write it down.
Write it down, yeah.
And I think a key part is around that communication. Another gem from Jacob, it was around understanding what conversation we're having. So a key part, and that's what we've implemented with our team as well, is we need to understand, is this conversation just a vent? Am I just coming in to get something off my chest because I'm frustrated? Is it I'm asking a question? Is it an FYI? Just so you know, we don't need to have a discussion about this. I'm just filling you in, and it's quick and easy. Or is it an actual, sit down and discussion, or we're making a decision?
Yeah.
So I think that's been a really important part for work in general, but
for us
working
and
with
the
your
team.
partner. Yeah, I think it's...
Even the team do it.
Yeah, it's really important as a team. But I think that's the masculine in general, I know myself, I just want to solve things. So when you're frustrated or bringing me things, even if you just want to talk about it, you don't want me to solve it. The instinct of the masculine is to jump in and solve that issue. And so that's been a really big challenge for me, is I'm just there to listen. I think one of the best little snippets, I don't know if we can throw that into the podcast or just a link, but Not About the Nail is a 2-minute video, which is just a really great clip on how sometimes we've just got to listen to what they're saying, not try and solve it. So I recommend you
We'll put a
checking
link
that.
up.
Yeah, if we can put the link up, Oscar can do his thing. That's a really good video that I saw quite a while ago that, yeah, I still forget all the time and try to solve things. But, yeah, understanding that part of our relationship, particularly in the evenings, is recognising, yeah, our meeting on a Monday, for example, is where you're bringing me something to solve together. Whereas if you're chatting in the evening, a lot of the time it's just debriefing and me listening. So
Yeah. And in saying that, we've evolved over the last couple of years with the help of Jacob and things like that. So,
yeah.
and Harmony, his wife, helping me as well. So I am able to manage frustrations and decision making and things during the work week anyway. So I don't really have that much to talk to you about anymore. I'll just tell you what's happening and you can let me know if you don't want that to happen. But otherwise,
it works
we're
for
all
me.
good. But yeah, so it's a process. It's taken a while. We've been doing this for a long time now on our own, 12 years. So what's taken me 10 years to get there?
Yeah.
And I guess with the evolving business and the amount of people and as the company grows, things change. So us managing how to manage that as it changes has been quite the journey.
Yeah, it's been tricky, and as you say, as we've grown, tasks or responsibilities have shifted, and
Yeah.
that's had a big effect.
Yeah.
But I do acknowledge what you said. The last couple of years in particular, you've done a lot of work around that, and it has been great for yourself and our relationship, and with the support of the likes of Jacob and Harmony and others to help with that business aspect has helped with the personal side of it for us.
Yeah. I always laugh when someone says to me, oh, did Tom tell you this? Did Tom tell you that? I just look at them now. Once upon a time, it would have annoyed me. But now I just go, oh, no, we don't talk. We know, we don't talk.
Particularly when it's more of a gossip or an information thing around the team.
I'm talking about jobs.
So.
I'm talking about work.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah. You still forget all that too. And I just don't react anymore.
It's not personal. It's just not the way my brain's wired.
Yeah.
Focusing on looking
No,
ahead.
that's right. That's what we've learnt, males. Oh, no offence. The male brain is like that.
Yeah, I guess so. I think the other key part of us working together has been understanding each other's strengths, which I'm sure I've touched on in a previous podcast, but, you know, often it's I guess the wife or the partner, the female that's around the accounts and the numbers and the behind the scenes stuff, and you'd expect me to be the ops manager dealing with more of the text and all of that, whereas we've kind of been the other way in a number of ways where I'm quite good with the numbers and the background stuff, and you're fantastic at the ops stuff, the technical stuff. So, which is fine, however it works in whatever relationship, whatever business. My point is more, it's recognising the strengths and the weaknesses of each other, and as you say, that you are really good at the detail and knowing everything, and I'm missing stuff out. So I'm always thinking ahead. What's the problem going to be in 90 days or 6 months' time, 12 months' time? So me trying to solve today's issue, it might feel good today to solve an issue, but I can see that if I'm not solving the bigger picture issues, then that's where my strength lies. And your strength is really about that this week, next week, you can see what's coming up and what needs to get tackled.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. And probably why we always clash, because I'm in a completely different world. And that's okay.
Yeah. Well, it can be. Your issue is
It's day to
perfectly
day.
relevant to today, and understandable, the frustration or the sense of urgency.
Oh, it might not even be issues. It might be just what happened. This is my rundown of today, and this happened. This is what we did. That arose, and this is what we did. We overcame it as a team. It can be good as well.
Yeah. We're going to talk about dedicated workspaces. We've had a number of offices around the place over the years.
Well, this is one that triggers me.
Why did we bring this one up? We've tried working away from the team, so we get that separation because you can get the constant interruptions. Working right beside the team in the main arena. I guess it's always been a balance. But for us working together, it can be really good if we're in the same office space and you need to communicate often and regularly. But it does feel like we have worked better these last couple of years when you're in your space and I'm in my space.
Yeah,
and
when
then
we're
we have those
separated.
dedicated meetings.
Yeah. I have had a number of offices depending on what was needed of me at the time, and we did end up in the same office once, and I know you hated it. Twice, actually. I'm pretty sure you put a wall up in our old office, remember?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, before we moved here.
But no door? No.
No, well, the one upstairs has no door.
Yeah.
So that has a wall, but when we were downstairs here, because we were renovating in the office,
Yeah.
and we had to sit in the conference room together, and
Yeah.
it was just annoying for you. Because I
Constant-
like to chat,
Yeah,
so...
yeah. Well, that's how you can operate with chatting at the same time as working. And if I'm working on a project, it's not so easy for me.
Yeah, it was the phone calls that were an issue within the same space. So I think it's good to have your own space as well, and offices, clutter and things like that look very different for you and I. So,
And I think for those that particularly starting out or have a small business that operating from home could make it
Yeah.
even more challenging to
Yep.
separate.
yeah,
I remember someone telling me they used to hop in their car to drive around the block to park back in their garage to then go to work as a form of separation, so
Yeah.
that they're shifting their mindset. Whatever works, but that can be dangerous. I know I think back to Mum and Dad when they were starting out and they grew, it was in the lounge room. We had office staff in our lounge room
Yeah, wow.
for a while, and then they realised they needed to do something, so they got a donger that was about 10 metres from our laundry door, so it was outside of the lounge, but it was still at home. So Mum
Yeah.
would often be in the office in the evenings,
yeah,
still doing work, because it's harder to separate when you're working from home.
yeah.
So I think, working out that boundary too would be really important.
Yeah, and it's hard as a business owner. The kids are down, you can get a good couple of hours just smashing out the invoicing or something like that, and feel better and more in control for the next week because you've got a busy week. But yeah, I think that becomes constant then when you can... In this day and age, we're getting pulled in 10 different directions. Family, work, clients needing us there now. So it is having that boundary to go, okay, the work is going to be there, the paperwork is going to be there tomorrow. Can I afford to not send these invoices, process that paperwork, whatever it might be,
How do you
complete
set
the
that boundary?
process? Yeah, there does. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. We know that. But yeah, trying to find that balance to not overwork yourself as well and to be with the family and be present. I think that's the biggest thing with the family for me is even though I'm at home with them, I'm getting Teams messages and things all day that I still have to watch.
Be distracted and...
Yeah, because sometimes I do need to answer things, even though we've got the team here. It makes it difficult. And so when you do have a young family like us, it's trying to find that balance of, okay, for us, not everyone, but for us, I've got a team here that can manage this without me. They'll be okay for a day. Let me just focus on the kids, even though they're driving me mad sometimes, and just be present in the moment because these are the times that we don't get back.
And for me, it's very similar. It might not be an operational thing that I don't need to be involved in that as much. But when I'm, struggling to process an issue, solve a bigger problem, or you just have a lot going on, it's easy to be at home, as you say, with that family time, and your mind's elsewhere. You're distracted. So
You are much better at it than me.
thank you.
Yeah. And I think that's something we've realised in the last couple of years is things have been hard. So trying to, balance all of that and be pulled in all the many different directions and be okay with whatever's happening. We've done well, I think.
And it's something I wanted to touch on in another podcast is around looking after yourself first and that personal development, because if you don't look after yourself, then work will have an effect on work no matter what.
Yeah.
And to your point around, do you really need to do that bit of extra paperwork? And there's this psychological fear that if we don't work hard enough, the business will just fall over and collapse. And sometimes that might be the case.
In the
but
early days,
often it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm not saying you can cruise and be successful as well, but there are times where you have to draw the line in the sand. And if you knock off in time to spend time with the family or the kids or whatever it might be, there's a fair chance that that extra hour that you gave back to yourself isn't going to collapse the business. So.
No, that's right. An example, we finish early on a Friday. It's as simple as me saying, yep, I'm out at 4 o'clock on Friday. I'll go and get the kids from mum and dad's or wherever they might be. But I get caught because I spend an extra hour here getting through my paperwork because I feel better. But then the rest of Friday, I'm not able to spend with the kids. I'm rushing around getting their dinner, getting them to bed. They're annoying me because I'm tired, So just even knocking off an hour early on a Friday and saying, that's my non-negotiable. That's what I'm going to do every week unless, you can't. Something bad happens. But generally speaking.
Yeah. But
it doesn't have to be crazy.
Setting that boundary and holding yourself to it, I think, is important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the last thing I want to talk about is trying to avoid talking about work is one thing, but then focusing on stuff that isn't on work. So a big thing for us is creating quality time outside of work for ourselves, which when you don't have kids is ridiculously easy, but you don't appreciate that at the time. Once you have a young family, it can be all the more challenging. So the quality time for us has always been both as a family and as our relationship. So one example for us is once a month we'll try to have a babysitter for the kids, usually the grandparents, and then we'll go out for dinner. Sometimes we might stay out overnight, otherwise we'll just have dinner and come home, but have a night to ourselves, which is really important to me. I love that quality time that we get together. And other times it can be the nightly routine where we might get a bit of time over dinner. If we can get the kids and dinner, everything ready, then we get to chat as a family. And then when we get them to bed, hopefully we get a half an hour where we can catch up, just you and I. So whatever that looks like for people, I guess, but I think those are the parts that you can miss through the week. If you don't get even the dinner routines can be special, or I love picking up the kids and getting that half an hour, to spend with them in the car or playing music, whatever it might be.
Easier said than done a lot of the time, but have it
certainly challenging.
A framework in place to try and accomplish it.
Yeah. I guess my point is it's sometimes the quality time's right there and you don't appreciate it. Picking up the kids and you could be distracted from work things. But I've always tried really hard to make the most of those times where you actually enjoy it, talk to them about their day, play some music, have some snacks, have a bit of fun.
Yep.
Summertime's a great time to jump in the pool with them. So, but yeah, setting that quality time, planning it, whatever that looks like, could be once a week, once a month, but as a family.
Yeah. And like they say, when you're looking after yourself, you are better at looking after everyone around you. So fill your cup first. As hard as it is, I'm no good at. I don't preach what I say, but is that the saying? I'm not very good at that.
Yeah.
Like my maths. So filling your cup, whether that's going for a walk or going for a swim or sitting out on the grass for 10 minutes just looking at the sky, apparently being out in the trees on the grass, looking at the sky, the open sky. This is what I'm told. There's no scientific, I don't have anything here, but just grounding yourself. It doesn't have to be extraordinary, like going to the gym or going on a 2K run or something crazy. But.
Yeah. Well, another one for us is just sitting out on on the deck of a Sunday afternoon. You know, it's a great time of day. It's nothing
Yeah.
special, but it's just that time to yourself,
Yeah.
the time together. So yeah, I think that's a key part if you're working together.
Yeah. Well, they're our tips.
Yep. Well,
Don't have to follow them, but it's taken us 10 years to get good at this.
and as
routine.
we said from the start, we certainly haven't nailed it.
No.
And there's still times where we don't do it well, but certainly improved over the
Yeah.
last few years.
Something for people to ponder anyway, even if you take one bit of advice from that, to look after yourselves so that you can better look after everyone else. That's probably a key point.
Yeah. Well, as our tradition, we'll bring Oscar into it and do our usual questionnaire. Hey,
How are we doing?
Yeah.
where'd you come from?
Time no see.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, play along at home. So, this one is a movie-related question, but also has to do with pest control. So, which movie in 1998 made more money? The hit animated film Ants or the hit animated film A Bug's Life?
Oh, I'm pretty sure Ants was like... I'm not going to say what I was about to say. I'm going Ants.
Well, I guess I'd have to go A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
The thing that jumps out for me, I remember, is in Ants, the termites were massive and the ants were scared of the termites, but that's not the case in real life.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a fun fact. If ants run into termites, they usually eat the termites. So
Yeah.
nothing to do with your question, but just that's what came to mind. So I guess I'm going A Bug's Life.
Of course, yeah. And I'll
Well-
be wrong.
I can reveal that A Bug's Life made $363 million at the box office,
Yeah.
Jeez.
and Ants made $152 million. So A Bug's Life is correct.
50-50, I'm always wrong.
110%
I
of
could
the
have
time.
sworn Ants was like, yeah,
It was a
next
better
level.
movie, right? Yeah.
I can't remember. I think I watched it when I was
Ants
10.
is
Can you
not
remember it?
Ants is not a better movie
No,
at all.
Okay, I'll rewatch.
I was just trying to help.
Oh, yeah.
I was just trying to help. So, we'll wrap it up. Thanks again, and we look forward to the next one.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
I want a loan to start a small business.
Small business.
For a small business.
A small business.
I'm saving money to buy small